Love. It almost always starts the same way, doesn't it? A vibrant light, a sense of discovery, the feeling of finally having found someone who understands us, who sees us. It's a warmth that spreads through the chest, a promise of a future of partnership. But what happens when that light starts to flicker? What do we do when the warmth turns into an uncomfortable fever and the partnership slowly reveals itself as a cage? The topic of toxic relationships is devastating precisely because it masks itself as affection. It doesn't begin with a shout. It begins with a whisper disguised as care. Have you ever stopped to think about how something that once brought so much happiness can metamorphose into a source of so much pain? How what was a safe harbor gradually becomes quicksand? It's a frightening transformation, and it happens far more often than we like to admit. The psychological prison isn't built all at once. No one would agree to enter a cell with open doors. It is erected brick by brick, so methodically and silently that the victim rarely notices the construction of the walls around them. The first brick is often possessive jealousy, presented as proof of intense love. "I care so much that I can't stand the thought of losing you," they say. And the person hearing it, at first, feels valued. Soon after, control disguised as concern follows. Where were you? With whom? Why were you late? The questions initially seem like zeal, but slowly they turn into interrogations. Your outfit is too revealing, your friends are a bad influence, your job takes up too much of your time. The person begins unconsciously to mold themselves to avoid conflict. The next step is isolation. The abuser, whether conscious of it or not, understands that the victim's strength lies in their support network. So, methodically, he or she begins to sever those ties. Every visit to family ends in a fight. Every outing with friends generates days of silence or accusations. The victim, exhausted from managing the partner's anxiety, starts to say no to invitations. It's just easier to stay home, she thinks. The walls are getting higher. This is where the cruelest of psychological tools comes into play, gaslighting. This is the fog that prevents the victim from seeing reality. The abuser denies things they said or did, even if they happened minutes before. "I never said that. You're imagining things. You're too sensitive. Are you crazy?" Imagine your reality being constantly invalidated. You clearly remember a promise, but you're told it was never made. You remember an offense, but you're told it was just a joke and you have no sense of humor. The victim starts to doubt their own memory. They start to question their sanity. If I can't trust what I heard, what I saw, who can I trust? The answer the abuser offers is, only me. The prison now has a guard. And the guard is the victim's own mental confusion. In parallel, self-esteem is systematically destroyed. The abuser alternates criticism with crumbs of affection. They criticize your intelligence, your appearance, your abilities. "You can't do anything right. No one will ever love you like I love you." These phrases are hammered in day after day. When the victim is at their lowest point, the abuser offers a glimpse of the initial love. A compliment, a gesture of affection. This cycle is devastatingly effective. It's known as trauma bonding. The human brain, desperate for connection, clings to these good moments, however rare they may be. The victim becomes addicted to the hope that the good person they met at the beginning will return. She isn't in love with the person who mistreats her. She is desperate for the person she thought the abuser was. The psychological prison is complete when the victim no longer recognizes herself. She looks in the mirror and sees only the version the abuser created. She feels constant fear, anxiety, depression. She walks on eggshells, monitoring every word, every gesture, trying to predict the next explosion or the next period of glacial silence. The impact of this on the body is real. Chronic stress releases cortisol, leading to sleep problems, digestive issues, chronic headaches, a weakened immune system. The body is screaming what the mind is too confused to accept. We are in danger. But how do you escape when the cell door is locked from the inside, with the key of your own self-confidence lost? The outside world often doesn't help. But she seems so nice, the remaining friends say. Toxic relationships, especially those of a narcissistic nature, are often brilliant in public and dark in private. The abuser wears a perfect social mask. This increases the victim's isolation. If I tell anyone, no one will believe me. They'll think I'm the problem. And then there is the shame. The shame of having allowed this to happen. How did I, an intelligent person, fall for this? What the victim doesn't understand is that rational intelligence has little defense against sophisticated emotional manipulation. It's not a failure of intellect. It's an exploitation of the human need to love and be loved. Leaving a physical prison is a matter of finding the key or breaking down the door. Leaving a psychological prison requires the prisoner to first realize they are imprisoned. Then, they must rebuild the key of their own identity, piece by piece, while the jailer tells them there is no world outside. The moment of rupture, if it comes, is one of the most dangerous. It's when the abuser feels they are losing total control. This is when threats can escalate, hoovering the attempt to suck the victim back in, becomes intense, with promises of change that will never materialize. And if the escape happens, freedom is, at first, terrifying. The silence is deafening. The victim must relearn how to make decisions alone, from what to eat for dinner to what career to pursue. She must relearn to trust her own judgment, the very judgment that was systematically dismantled. The scars are deep. Trusting a new partner seems impossible. A genuine compliment might sound like the beginning of manipulation. A normal relationship conflict might trigger a panic attack, transporting her back to that cell. It's a long grieving process, not just for the loss of the relationship, but for the loss of time and the loss of the person she was before it all began. It's a sad, dark scenario, one that fills us with a morbid curiosity about human resilience. How does one survive this? The answer is complex. Healing involves therapy, re-establishing support networks, infinite patience with oneself, and, above all, the daily reaffirmation of one's own reality. Love should never be a prison. Love should be expansion. It should be the place where we are most ourselves, not less. When love demands that you shrink, that you hide, that you apologize for existing, it has ceased to be love and has become possession. And possession is, fundamentally, the denial of the other's humanity. It is a dark labyrinth, and getting out of it is, perhaps, the most courageous act anyone can perform. It is reclaiming one's own soul. After reflecting on this dark journey, what is your sincere opinion on this type of dynamic? Do you truly believe that a relationship that has reached this point of control and psychological erosion has any solution, or is the only way out and always will be the definitive break?